Paltrocast. Well, Gus, thank you for taking the time. Aside from having to answer questions from this guy, good day for you so far?
Yeah, so far so good. Just enjoying the Texas heat right now.
Yeah, we have some heat here in New York, but full disclosure, I had the pleasure of going to your establishment and I was treated very well in your beautiful city of El Paso. And what to me, and this is a compliment that sort of becomes a question, what makes your brewery very different isn't just the excellent beer, it's the community feel where there's art going on, there's live performances, etc. Now, when you started up Old Sheepdog, did you know that you wanted to have more than beer there?
The original idea was always the arts, right? We always thought about having art in that area because of where it's at. It's right underneath the spaghetti bowl where they call it the Chicano Park Dos, right? Two. The first one being in San Diego, where it's Logan Park, and then the people from that community brought that idea into where we're currently at.
Yeah.
So the arts were always there. Now, we didn't think it was gonna be that fast or that big how it's becoming. And I mean, we've been blessed of making it a hub for artists to be able to expose their art there and to be able to bring back to the community and people knowing what we have in El Paso, that a lot of people don't even know that area exists. And we're bringing people to the south side of El Paso.
Right, you were very close to that. Is it called Lincoln Park, where it's the murals under the, okay, so there's that. Then inside your brewery, there's excellent murals. Then when I was there, Tino had his art show and there's a stage and you have comedy and open mics and live music there, etc. So it really is a big art scene out there. Do you yourself book a lot of the talent, or is there staff that oversees and takes submissions?
A lot of it has been coming from me, like people reach out to me, or a friend of a friend tells me about this other person, and that's how it did start. Now to this point right now, the music has been branched out to one our sound engineer that we have now, and then the art shows are still coming through, filtering out through me, but it's still, I mean, with all the team that which is not a big team, it's a very small team of probably like 8 or 9 people, and then we're kind of like bringing the little ideas to each other, and they bring it to me, and then me and my wife, we kind of like see, okay, this is something that we would like to show at the brewery, or if not, right, which is for the most part it's always a yes.
For the most part, it's a yes. And in terms of the beer, now you had showed me on site that you did sort of a collaboration with a musician, a collaboration with an artist. Is that the same kind of submission process for the collaborations on the beer flavors?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as far as beer collabs, we always try to see what's going to be the benefit, not only for the brewery but for the community. What are we bringing to it? So that's how we do it. As far as beer flavors, and it mainly comes down to again, me and my wife. We share a lot of similarities, me and her, and what we like and what we think that El Paso is gonna like, and then we bring it up to our brewers, which we've been blessed with Josh as well. He makes great beer. And we see how can we bring this to life, and it goes from there, from the back and forth of ideas between all 3 of us.
And when I was there, you made it very, very clear where you said, we're not a microbrewery, we're a nano brewery,
Yes.
which I had never heard before. Is that a strategy, or is that just the circumstances of you are?
Yeah, you could say it's the circumstances, the not enough capital to open a business. And I think that's mainly what we are, and the whole thing about being part of the pueblo, of the people, right? because that's who we are. I don't come from you know, a family of money. I don't come from a family of business. It was just me and my wife you know, selling our home, taking one or two loans, and or you know, getting our retirement out and making the business. So I think the whole nano thing was mainly, yeah, of course I would have loved to open with a big brewing system, but with the capital that we had at that moment, we needed to open with such a small system. But it also gives us the flexibility of turning around different types of, like how you say, flavors, different styles of beers, and be able to do so much with different people because of that system, because it's so small that we just do the constant rotation of beers, and it's pretty neat. It's harder work. I mean, it's the same work that if you would brew in a big system, same amount of time. It takes the same amount of time. It's just in a smaller quantity. And but I mean, hopefully in the near future, in 1 or 2 months from now, we will go to a microbrewery setup, which is that 7-barrel system that we're about to fire up.
That makes sense. You also told me a story when I was on site about how the famous wrestler Cassandro, who I believe is going to have a story adapted into an Amazon-funded biopic in the future, how Cassandro helped save the brewery, or at least get it more on the radar of people during COVID-19.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Cassandro for us is our little, you know, our savior. Our savior of our little small business that we have, right? During pandemic, when we were closed and we were making $10 a day, we needed to find a way of how to survive, to pay rent and bills, you know?
Right.
So we partner up with Cassandro at that moment, and his beer kind of took us on, which I believe of what we are right now. Not in more in the site, but more into like leading us of what we wanted to become, which more community oriented. Even though we had that mentality, we didn't know how to approach it. And I think with the Cassandro beer, it led us there. It took us to where Sheepdog is right now.
Well, one of the things I was talking your ear off when I was there is how many wrestlers and entertainers and all that have some sort of roots in El Paso. And it's nice to see that some of them, like Jim Ward from Spartan at the Drive-In, are still around, and they fly the El Paso flag high. Was Cassandro the first collaboration that you'd done with an entertainer or athlete?
Yes, it is. It is. And again, it was kind of like an idea that I had in my head where, you know, it would be great if because of course, when we did it, it was for the LGBTQ community. It would be great to do something. And him fighting in Mexico and pushing the, you know, the movement of the LGBTQ, it only felt right, him being from El Paso, to be the person to put in the beer can. And we're lucky enough that he said yes. And of course, you know, we kind of have that with him, and that big debt of him the brewery has in us too, as personally.
I don't know if it's such a debt, because at the same time, Cassandro, whenever, you know, you say, hey, what have you accomplished in your life? Cassandro goes, well, I had a beer. And how many wrestlers? I don't think John Cena had a beer. So, you know, rare company when it comes down the list of accolades and all that. So before you did the whole brewery thing, you were a metal singer. Is that something that most people know when they come to your brewery?
Not a lot of people know. Actually, I think I've only told that story once, and to you. And of course, everybody that knows me personally knows that I was a metal singer. It's funny that you bring that up, but yeah, it's something that I was really big into music, and I'm a really proud moment of my life of being that metal singer with my long hair and you know, doing what we did at that moment.
Well, I mention all that because a lot of the people like to know that their beer is overseen by artists, and you're an artist, to say the least. That's where you come from before you came into this field.
Thank you. Yeah. I've never considered myself an artist, and people keep saying, yeah, you are an artist, you are an artist. And, you know, I was just you know, a growler and, you know, a Cookie Monster person. But I mean, it turned out to be great, man. The music was great. And I did it with people that I love, which was friends that were from kinder. So that was awesome.
And then in terms of the brewery, are you allowed to say what's coming up or what people should be looking forward to? Or is it a case of just check Instagram, the social media, and that's how we know what's coming up?
Well, of course, that is the best way to know what's coming up to Old Sheepdog. We have so many ideas and working with so many people. But I mean, next week we're gonna have the pillow fight. So we're gonna be helping Kyla Gomez, which is the El Paso boxer. We're trying to collect funds for her so she could go into the Olympics, cover all her costs of the Olympics. There's going to be collaboration with another brewery that is fighting. The owner's fighting me also. We're going in the ring. It's going to be a professional wrestling ring. We're going to go in there, but we're going to be fighting with pillows. And then our other people, like you know, we're gonna have people from customs, from Border Patrol in there. We're gonna have athletes going in there, as well as other businesses that are jumping in and fighting other businesses, and all in fun to help out this young lady that's going to go and compete in the Olympics. That is from El Paso. That's the most recent that is upcoming, and that's July 15th. But of course, we have other things coming up with you know, like just yesterday we helped out the animal services here in El Paso, as well as West Texas, for free adoption of pups, free microchips. And we were doing also a fundraiser. We put you know, long-term residents of theirs in beer cans, and then they were being adopted, and that just happened all yesterday on Sunday. And then we're planning that again in fall. We're also doing we're going with the military. We're going to help out families to be giving away you know, back to school in August, handing out backpacks with school supplies for military family mainly, but of course, if there's somebody else that needs that supply, they could come in and get it as well.
Wow, my local breweries do not do things like Old Sheepdog is doing. So kudos to you on not only having the excellent beer, the arts and excellent atmosphere, but the do-good spirit. It's really wonderful and refreshing from afar to see a brewery that breaks just about every stereotype.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's all about how we said, you know, the cerveza del pueblo, and we cannot just say cerveza del pueblo just to say it, which is, you know, the people's beer, how people like to call us, if we're not here to help out everybody. And that means everybody, from you name it, all sizes, shapes, and everything. We're here to help out.
Paltrocast.